The day had been planned down to the minute, paperwork signed, witnesses scheduled, the warden on standby. Death row didn't allow surprises. Until today. Daniel Cole sat on the edge of his bunk, massive frame hunched over, arms covered with faint but visible tattoos, staring at the cold concrete floor. Hours separated him from his execution, but he wasn't angry. He wasn't afraid. He wasn't even hopeful. He was simply tired. Tired of living with a truth no one had ever believed. Tired of holding memories of a night that had destroyed everything he loved. And tired of missing the only soul who had ever loved him without question. Rex. Rex, the German shepherd, who had grown from a trembling, abandoned pup into Daniel's shadow. His protector, his lifeline, his warning siren. The only witness to the events that had led to Daniel's conviction. The only one who knew what really happened. The prison guards walked past his cell, routine steps echoing in the hall. They had seen men crumble, scream, and plead in the hours before their deaths. Not Daniel. His broad shoulders and calm, heavy presence made him look almost unshakable. Yet behind those brown eyes and tattooed arms, a quiet storm raged, a storm that only Rex could weather. When the warden finally appeared, clipboard in hand, he asked the standard question. Cole, final request, last meal, words, anything before the procedure. Daniel lifted his head slowly, gaze steady. Bring Rex. A hush fell over the hallway. The warden blinked. Guards exchanged confused glances. Your dog? Daniel's voice, deep and steady despite its weariness, didn't waver. I want to see my dog. That's my last wish. The warden frowned but nodded reluctantly. The paperwork was signed, protocol bent, just enough to grant the final wish. But no one, not even the guards, anticipated the storm that would follow. Rex had been gone from Daniel's life for years, taken to a farm by a handler after Daniel's arrest. The dog had adapted, but his eyes always betrayed a longing for the man who had saved him from the streets. When the prison van arrived, Rex was tense, alert, tail stiff, ears pricked. Something in the air told him that this meeting was not ordinary. Daniel was escorted into the visitation room, chains clinking with every step. His broad chest heaved as he took in the figure waiting for him, fur sleek and eyes sharp, fixed entirely on his master. In the silence, the world outside seemed to vanish. The moment their eyes met, Rex lunged. The handler barely kept hold, but Daniel reached out. Fingers brushed against the dog's fur, and years of fear, guilt, and loneliness seemed to dissolve. Guards, hardened by decades of discipline, watched in stunned silence. Then something shifted. Rex stiffened, tail froze mid-wag. His hackles rose slightly, his eyes fixed on one man, a prison guard who had escorted Daniel years ago during the night of his arrest. He barked, low and warning, snapping the silence into tension. Daniel froze. The memory hit him like a hammer. That night, the officer who had taken his statement. Something had been off. That guard had been too aggressive, too eager to push him into the cell. Rex had known then, he knew now. Daniel's deep, commanding voice cut through the tension. He knows, he remembers. He saw it. The guard's face paled. Whispers bounced off the concrete walls. The warden's eyes narrowed. What? What are you saying, Cole? Daniel leaned forward, voice heavy but precise. Rex saw the truth that night. The guard who brought me in, he wasn't just following orders. He knows things. Things that led to me taking the fall for what I didn't do. Rex barked again, sharp and insistent, snapping at the same guard. The officer stumbled back, fear overtaking his authority. Other guards reached for their radios, unsure whether to intervene, but Daniel's sheer presence, massive, tattooed, imposing, held them at bay. "You're lying," the guard muttered, shaking. "I don't lie," Daniel growled, each word resonating like a drum. "Rex doesn't lie either. That night, the break-in, the alarm, it wasn't me, you know it. And Rex knows it." Rex advanced, nose twitching, hackles raised. The guard's hand twitched toward his belt instinctively, but Daniel, calm and commanding, lifted a tattooed arm. "Stop. He's telling the truth. We all know it now." The warden stepped forward, jaw tight. "Cole, this is unprecedented. How do you prove this?" Daniel's voice was quiet but firm, echoing in the room. "He'll react. You saw it? He always knows." Rex barked once more, then growled low, circling the guard. The officer's eyes widened in panic. Something was coming to light, something undeniable. Every witness in that room felt it. The bond between man and dog wasn't just emotional. It was revelatory. The guard stumbled over his words, trying to regain control, but fear and guilt made him confess. I I didn't mean for it to, I, Daniel's tattooed arms flexed as he leaned forward, every inch of him conveying authority. "Enough. Say it. Say the truth, or Rex will remind you." The guard crumbled, details spilled. Evidence that had been ignored or buried came to light. The crime Daniel had been convicted of, not his. And all along, the only witness had been the dog who had survived years apart, waiting, loyal and sharp, now bringing the truth into a cold prison room. The warden's hands trembled slightly. For the first time, he realized that law and justice were not the same. A man could be condemned, but a bond, a loyalty, could reveal what the law had missed. Medical staff rushed in as Rex circled Daniel, sensing nothing was wrong physically, yet aware that tension crackled like electricity in the room. Daniel leaned back, chains rattling against the floor, his head tilted as he studied the stunned faces around him. "This dog saved me more than once," Daniel said softly, voice breaking. "He saved me from the streets, from myself, and now from the system that failed me." Rex nudged his massive head under Daniel's arm. His eyes glowed with unwavering loyalty. The warden swallowed hard, guards shifted uneasily. Inmates pressed against bars, witnessing the unprecedented moment. The execution was halted. Investigations were reopened. The officer implicated could no longer hide. Daniel, enormous, tattooed, yet somehow gentle despite his stature, felt a flicker of hope. Years of injustice were finally meeting a force they couldn't control, the pure, undeniable bond of a dog. Outside, Rex wagged his tail in quiet triumph. The warden, hardened by decades, whispered to himself, "Justice sometimes comes on four legs." Daniel's final hours were no longer a countdown to death. They were a testament to loyalty, to love, and to the idea that even in the darkest places, truth has a way of revealing itself, sometimes through a man, sometimes through a dog, and sometimes through both together. And as he sat there, massive arms brushing against the loyal German shepherd, Daniel knew that no chain, no wall, no sentence could ever break what they shared. He was no longer just a condemned man. He was a man whose life had been saved by loyalty, truth, and Rex, the dog who never forgot.